Hello students, today we are going to study about tissues. Tissue is a group of cells having similar structure and function. In plants and animals, groups of cells called tissue carry out specific functions. For example, in human beings, the cells of the muscular tissue contract and relax and help in movements. In plants, the cells of the vascular tissue conduct water and food from one part of the plant to the other. Differences between plant and animal tissues. Plant tissues. Plants do not move from place to place. Most of the cells and tissues in plants provide mechanical support and strength. So, most of the tissues consist of dead cells because they provide mechanical support and strength to the plant. The growth of plants takes place only in some regions. So, plants have tissues called meristematic tissues which divide and help in growth, and permanent tissues which do not divide. Animal tissues. Animals move from place to place and need more energy than plants. So, most cells and tissues in animals are living cells. The growth of animals is more uniform, so animals do not have separate dividing and non-dividing cells. Animals have organs having specialized functions, so the organs have specialized tissue. Now, plant tissues. Plant tissues are of two main types. They are meristematic tissues and permanent tissues. Meristematic tissues are of three types. They are apical meristematic tissues, intercalary meristematic tissues, and lateral meristematic tissues. Second, permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are of two types. They are simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues are of three types. They are parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Complex permanent tissues are of two types. They are xylem and phloem. This is the concept map of plant tissues. Meristematic tissues. Meristematic tissues are found in the growing regions of the plant like the tips of root, stem and branches. They divide continuously and help in the growth of the plant. They are of three types. Apical meristematic tissues are present in the tips of stems and roots. They help in the growth of stem and roots. Lateral meristematic tissues are present in the sides of stems and roots. They help to increase the girth of the stems and roots. Intercalary meristematic tissues are present at the base of leaves and internodes and help in the growth of those parts. Permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are formed from meristematic tissues. They do not divide and have permanent shape and size. They differentiate into different types of permanent tissues. Permanent tissues are of two main types. They are simple permanent tissues and complex permanent tissues. Simple permanent tissues are made up of one type of cells. They are of three main types called parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Parenchyma consists of loosely packed thin walled cells having more intercellular spaces. Some parenchyma cells in leaves contain chloroplasts and prepares food by photosynthesis. Some parenchyma cells have large air cavities which help the plant to float on water. Some parenchyma cells of roots and stem store water and minerals. Second, collenchyma consists of elongated cells having less intercellular spaces and thicker at the corners. They give flexibility and allows easy bending of different parts like stem, leaf, etc. They also give mechanical support to the plant. Third, sclerenchyma consists of long, narrow, dead, thick-walled cells. The cell walls contain lignin, a chemical substance which acts like cement and hardens them. It gives strength and hardness to the plant parts. This is the diagram showing you different simple tissues of plant: parenchyma, collenchyma and sclerenchyma. Now, second plant tissue is complex permanent tissues. These are made up of more than one type of cells. There are two types of complex tissues. They are xylem and phloem. They are called vascular or conducting tissues. Xylem consists of tracheids, vessels, xylem, parenchyma and xylem fibers. The tracheids and vessel helps to transport water and minerals from roots to all parts of the plant. Xylem parenchyma stores food and fibers help in support. Phloem consists of sieve tubes, companion cells, phloem parenchyma and phloem fibers. The sieve tubes and companion cells transport food from leaves to all parts of the plant. Phloem parenchyma stores food and fibers help in support. This is the diagram showing you xylem and phloem.